better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets caught real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. That's the blood and gold. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel the force of blood in. If you start shit, you'll be hard-lived in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you let scars rip. You'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't bright, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me...
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our Sunday show. We are feeling rejuvenated and we are ready to go. We have a great show lined up for you. Right? So today's show is going to be all about how Trump's cabinet is going to fail miserably. We've already gone over a lot of the incompetent and unqualified choices that Donald Trump has chosen to be part of his cabinet. Yeah, but there's more. And they're even worse, which is amazing.
Fascinating. That's an accomplishment all on its own.
It really is. So before we get into all that, though, I do want to ask you guys for help. With the mass exodus from corporate media, there's going to be a huge opportunity for the independent media guys like us. We are, however, a very small channel that YouTube does not seem to want to push. If you watch this video, all we ask of you is that you share this video on other platforms, whether it be Twitter, Threads, Facebook, Blue Sky, whatever. We need your help in order to grow at the speed we need to grow. Because one thing that I've realized that we must do right now in order for democracy to survive is unite. Unity is the key. Unity is why Republicans and MAGA are so goddamn strong, is because they're united in their hate. And we are not united at all. So our responsibility from here on out is to bring together the people that voted against Trump and the people that didn't vote at all, because they don't realize it yet, but this is going to substantially negatively hurt their lives. And when that happens, they're not going to know what's going on because they don't follow politics like a lot of us do.
How did this happen? It must be the brown people and the gays.
Oh. Right, exactly. We do not need more misinformation and more propaganda seeping into public opinion. So channels like us are dedicating our time and our money to go ahead and put out the best show possible based on reality, based on facts. But we need your help and we cannot grow without you. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, and Mike, I forgot to tell you, I changed my Instagram name right before.
Again?
Well, somebody on Threads suggested I do it because it was losing hope in humanity. But then they're like, you sound pretty positive for somebody's losing. So I changed it back. I changed it back to Radical Left Thug. They're like,
all right,
so
radical Left Thug.
Like,
I think that fits you. Yeah, okay.
It does, and it's appropriate. But we do have a guest tonight to talk about the show. We have a lot of stuff we want to talk about. We want to talk about Nancy Mace and Marjorie Teen doing their transphobic pearl clutching. Matt Gaetz has gotten a promotion to cameo. He's over there with George Santos.
Cameo's like the OnlyFans for people that don't have body positivity in their life. It's my personal opinion.
Right. And also, I heard that Lauren Boebert may have run off with an underwater space alien. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Like, all right, look, underwater space aliens, like we have everybody on the planet has a high resolution camera in their hands. CCTV exists. Like, you mean to tell me that only the government has seen evidence?
Yeah, okay.
Stop being so goddamn gullible. All right, anyway, let's get back to being serious. Sorry, I had to get off topic for a second.
Glad you got that.
We have a video of Donald Trump where people on the internet think it's a body double, and when you see it, you're going to be kind of like, maybe? I don't know. And then we have a couple of more of Donald Trump's cabinet picks to go over. But before we get into all that, we have another special guest on the show, returning back to the show for, I don't even know how many times this is. Tammy Moyer. What's up, Tammy? How are you?
Not enough. But
hey, I'm doing okay. Decided that as much as I was tempted at first to be quiet and stay under the radar because, well, I am the demographic they're attempting to use to divide us right now.
Yep.
Well, They already are proving they don't care how quiet we are. They're going to take away our rights if we shut up. They're going to take away our rights if we're loud. And, well, everyone else seems to be backing away from us in the Democratic Party. So I better damn well speak for myself.
Yeah.
We're the ones being used to divide just by our fact we exist. So
Right.
How dare you want to just exist in this hellscape that we've created for ourselves?
Like, if I'm not mistaken,
that on you, Tammy.
I know, right? If I'm not mistaken, like the transgender community makes up like less than 1% of the American population.
Give or take 1%. Yeah, that's about it.
And then Republicans are constantly like, stop throwing it in my face. Like, y'all are throwing it in our face. Like,
I would love them to shut the hell up about me. Let me live my life.
Just let you be
in their face.
Well, what fascinates me is they're using, I mean, look, the Republicans have always been great at finding the tiniest wedge issue, which this isn't a wedge issue, because if it was, the country would already be divided on it, but they're not. The only reason anyone says anything or has an opinion on it is because they are creating a problem that doesn't exist because they have nothing to run on. They didn't before the election. They are not going to deliver on any promises made by any one of them. So all they're going to do is get on camera, and we have an example of this where Nancy Mace is like, I'm being attacked by trans people. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, because if it did, you would use the opportunity to call the police to make an example of it. So it didn't happen. It's never happened. And trust me when I tell you, the creeps going into the bathrooms to deal with girls and boys in unsavory ways are Republicans.
Now,
and and not only that, but we're going to see a secondary problem with this, and it's not trans women in the women's bathroom. It's when trans men comply with this rule.
Oh.
Let's think about for a second. Trans men pass far better than trans women do, because testosterone is fucking destructive.
Yeah, it is.
At least in my opinion.
No, it's a mutation almost.
You're going to grow a beard. Your voice is going to drop. You're going to gain muscle mass where I've been losing it. I have about a third of the strength I used to have, but I know people who are trans masc who are jacked now.
Oh, yeah.
So the first time you have a bearded, jacked person who looks like a guy walk into a women's restroom because they were born a woman and they're complying with the rules. Now who's going to tell?
Right?
Who's going to tell whether it's a trans masked person walking in or it's a predator pretending to be? That's going to create more danger by complying with their damn rules.
What's going to be the most interesting is when they do what they always do, which is they barely understand something and they use the rules only when it applies. So what's going to happen is if they find a trans woman in a bathroom, in a woman's bathroom, they're going to be like, oh, look, a man trying to sneak in here. But when a trans man is in a men's bathroom, they're just going to say, oh, look, a man being a creep. Or, I mean, a man, you know what I'm saying? A trans man in a woman's bathroom, they're going to be like, oh, look, a creep.
Yeah. So the funny part about this, like Nancy Mace, okay, so there's one transgender member of Congress now. One. Okay. And she has not even sworn her oath of office yet. So she's not even there yet. And they are freaking out. Nancy Mace has posted probably 300 to 400
it was like 300 times
on Twitter about this. I think she posted 250 in 24 hours.
Talk about someone who has a personal problem with trans people that's making it a little bigger than it needs to be.
And look at she's posting stuff like this.
But like this is where we are, because I didn't come up with this. I mean, I'm sure it's been said 1,000 times. These people, these bigots throughout history, these Christian nationalist scumbags are obsessed with who makes poo-poo and pee-pee in what bathroom. Like,
you know, the funny about the guys' bathroom is like we piss next, we pee standing next to each other. It's like guys, we're just I don't see what the big deal. Like the only thing I'm worried about in the public bathroom. Like here's the thing: Nancy Mace is a survivor of a sexual assault, correct? Okay, so she is obsessed with. She thinks she's going to get assaulted by this trans woman in the bathroom, but this is peak Republican woman mentality. But she walks around the Capitol building while 38% of Donald Trump's cabinet has been involved in or has been accused of some sort of...
Or convicted.
Our president.
Or found liable.
Right, our own president.
Including Trump himself.
Yes. So this is all
The misogynist in chief.
It's completely ridiculous. But she's okay with being around men who she knows for a fact have assaulted women. And Nancy Mace herself is involved in sexual harassment too. So she's no angel. She's not innocent.
They're all scumbags.
They are all scum. And she got reelected. So here is the first video of her claiming that she was attacked by a trans person, and then another one came up to her and started yelling at her. And like, of course, none of this actually fucking happened.
Hey guys, I am at the airport making my way back home to the Low Country in South Carolina. I just spoke at an event with a couple hundred people. Some trans lunatic tried to rush the stage and attack me. And he is just making the case for me that we don't want penises in women's spaces. F off. And I just had a woman come up to me and get in my face about it, and I told her to F right.
So you don't want women in your women's spaces also.
And I'm going to fight harder and bigger than ever before. I will be the giant you can't take out, and you can't bully me into submission.
Man,
I have a question.
What's that?
Idiots. No, I was just saying we're being run by complete fucking
idiots. So my question is, and I don't want to say I know the answer, but I genuinely want your answer. This is a person who is anti-trans, says she is pro-woman, right? If you're saying we don't want men in women's spaces, the assumption is obviously you're denigrating trans women, but she's not pro-woman. And the irony is that trans women, I'm going to say this in my own dumb way. You've known me long enough to know that I don't always say things right. Trans women, in my mind, aren't trans women. They're just women. So the idea that she is like saying, oh, these are women's spaces, your fundamental argument is flawed because you're a bigot. So you're not protecting women because as much as you might be a survivor of other sexual assaults, you're not protecting women anyway because you're also passing anti-women laws. This is a person who's going to vote for anti-abortion bills and anti-medical care bills. So my long-winded question to you, Tammy, is where does this stop? Where do you, as a trans woman, see this? As a woman, do you feel that she's representing women?
No, not at all. Also, if her problem at the bathroom is penises in women's spaces, you think maybe she'd support gender-affirming surgery a little more.
Oh.
I have friends who have had bottom surgery who have been assaulted in women's bathrooms. There's no penis involved.
Yep.
None. Some of them had their surgeries 4, 5, 6 years ago. They are assaulted by cis women because they exist in that space.
They're obsessed with genitals.
There's
so if it's
literally
genitals,
no way they could be a threat.
We're going to do a whole episode.
We are afraid of that happening to us when we walk.
I know
that's
this.
And the thing is, there's stalls.
Yeah.
We're not watching each other pee. Everything is a stall in a women's restroom.
Right.
The concern we have is whether or not a woman decided she was going to hover rather than sit on the seat before us.
What's interesting is, and think about this, right? I've been lucky enough to do a little bit of international traveling, and every bathroom I've been to that is not in America, the stalls are actually closed rooms. So really, maybe we should be asking why our stalls in America have enough space in there for you to watch someone wipe their ass through the crack in the door.
That's what
maybe that's the real problem.
Listen, this is just me. This is just my personal opinion. But if I'm in a public bathroom and I'm taking a shit, the last thing I care about is what
you want to watch.
Another person has. Like, I'm going to stop taking a shit and be like, hey.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Of checking genitals, and that doesn't even, as I had already pointed out, actually tell you a goddamn thing. How the hell do you know, actually, one, we had people accusing Katie Ledecky during the Olympics of being trans. She says she's been in the Olympics for so long. They can't fucking tell. They don't have a fucking clue. And genital checks, excuse me, that's the most fucking disgusting concept ever, but it's about the roughest idea of what the fuck they could do to tell.
Are we going to do stop and frisk now to make sure if you're trans
stop
or not?
And fondle. I'm going to say it.
Fondle.
Stop and fondle.
Somebody tries to lay hands on me like that.
Yeah, I know.
They're gonna catch an elbow real
Yeah, so he
fast.
comes up and grabs my crotch. It's gonna
12
be
to
a
6.
problem.
Write down. Break their nose.
Oh my God! So here,
No. Don't lecture the second-degree black
I
belt.
know.
How to destroy
I know.
someone.
right?
I'm not saying
Hey,
shit.
here we
Hey,
go.
I
Here's
am an
another
armchair
video.
MMA fan. I know enough to point out shit.
Here's
And you know how to
here-
take a steel chair to the head. I've watched
That's
that.
right.
I do. That'll be
Here's
another
another
episode another day.
Wait, hold on
Yeah,
a second.
you were there for that?
We got it. Wait.
Uh,
Hold on. We can't go past that. We just glaze past that. You got hit in the head with a metal.
Well, we were
yes, he did.
pretending it was at some party. I don't remember which. Actually, I do remember. It was at 441, I think.
Yep. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was at 441. This was back when we were in school. We were hanging out, and like obviously there were chemicals and substances involved.
Yeah.
And my friends and I decided we were going to put on a little backyard wrestling show. So I may have got hit in the head with a steel chair and thrown through something. I don't know.
I mean, I'll admit.
Wait, was it a screen door? I don't
I don't remember.
I'll
that
be
second
honest. I
part.
mean, we did kind of the same thing, but we set up a BB gun range in my buddy's basement, and I ended up
Oh,
getting shot. I ended up getting shot in the ass with the BB gun.
Hey, look,
All right,
I
all
have
right,
stories like this. It's almost like I was a girl. I watched other people be dumbasses.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
That's
right?
true.
All right, so
Yeah,
here's
we
another
are
one.
proof that
Boring
women should
one
be
in the
running the
group.
world.
right,
We
well,
are
yeah,
proof
men are
that women
dumb
should be
as fuck.
running the world.
We are. Let's get back on topic, man. Nancy, here's another video of Nancy Mace outside of a bathroom in, I'm guessing, the Capitol building, doing more of her pearl clutching.
Well, then you shouldn't try to erase women. What I have to say for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
Wait a minute. Wait. Are we actually supposed to believe, as if we are as dumb as the average MAGA, that she didn't put up those things over the sign herself?
I know
Because
that's
at the very end, she made sure when the guy off camera told her to raise the thing so they could see it, she raised it up and scrunched it.
Yeah.
Performative bigotry is all the Republican Party has ever had. And now they're proudly displaying that they don't care. That's all they have.
And
They're
it's
going to
not
run on their.
performative.
Well, the
it's
problem-
real that they're
You're right.
bigots. They've
You're
put
right.
668 laws as of Friday on the docket to be dealt with across 43 states
Oh
in
my
the
God.
United States that are anti-trans laws. A
Are you
lot of them are
serious?
bathroom laws, but a lot get more dangerous than that. This is a direct attack. And even the Democratic Party is going, oh, well, maybe
Yep.
it was that we were too pro-trans
Yep.
that people didn't show up.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck off.
You can't
Yeah,
turn your blind eye to it because first they came for the trans, and you talked about weakening ourselves by being divided. You're going to take 1% of the population that almost guaranteed almost every single one of us showed up to vote because our lives
Yep.
depended on it,
Dependent on it.
and you're going to
Mhm.
take that 1% right out of it. So
Yeah, but
you want to
what-
deal
but you
with
gotta
3 million
understand.
less votes? Have fun.
Tammy, you're missing the point. It's really all about if my girl doesn't get the scholarship because of your trans daughter, then I can't relive my failed youth through my child.
All that muscle, all that.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's my.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah,
but that's one of my
I will-
favorite things, right? I've had this conversation several times in this week alone. Sports, the idea of it has nothing to do with an equal slate of participants. That's literally the whole reason that the people who are either born naturally gifted or train harder
Right,
are
right.
better than your
I
dusty
play
little kid
in
who doesn't want to be
multiple
there.
Women's sports leagues. I am not the best
Yeah.
player in any of them, not by a margin.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah, but
forgot
even
you're
if
the
you
curler.
were, it's not like Michael Phelps isn't a literal mutant that doesn't produce lactic acid, right?
Yeah,
So
no
you want-
kidding, right? Like, look at that guy. You tell me he doesn't have a physical advantage. The guy's
Yeah.
built like
I'm
a
not worried
freaking
about
giant
trans
bird.
people. I'm worried about people shaving a gorilla and putting them in a pool and saying that they're a human. That's what I'm worried about because Michael Phelps is a
Yeah.
freaking gorilla man.
Anyway,
That's- Whatever.
All right,
Okay.
let's
All right.
bitch about the rest of this bullshit.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true because this is
Once
just
again.
the beginning. They haven't even
Yeah.
taken power yet. So what are they going to
Yeah.
look like? Jeremy, show us some weird shit.
Okay, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Hey, there's some weird shit right there.
who, after
I didn't mean literally.
posting this here for all my Republican colleagues in the House and the Senate, if you're going to release ethics report and rip apart our own, that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethic reports, claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled paying off victims with taxpayer money. The entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recording, witness interviews, not just those. There's more. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I will make
That's
sure
a weird phrase.
we do.
Hey, look, I agree with her.
She just admitted, like a dumbass, that at least half or a third of Republicans in the Capitol are sexual deviants.
That's a low number.
And then they, after she made this threat, they promoted her.
Well, why? No. Think about it. It all goes to show the culture of how the Republican mind works. They all are transactional bullies. So she had dirt, she threatened, she got what she wanted. That's it. She's never going to release the information because then you don't have the information and you lose your leverage. Just like why I want the P-tapes to come out. Vladimir Putin is not going to release the P-tapes until he hits the big nuke button. Because until then, he needs to have the P-tapes. Marjorie Taylor Greene probably watched a lot of these assaults happen and went, ha, 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 you deserve it, and filmed it and kept it in her pocket so that if she ever needs to blackmail someone, she could use it. She's not a champion of the victims. She's an example of how bad this administration is going to function, because on the other end, right, where is this one? On the other end, you have Republicans who are going to turn on each other. I don't know where that slide is. Here it is. You're going to have Republicans that turn on each other that may be, quote, decent Republicans. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski just made a bold move declaring that she won't support any of President Trump's nominees unless they undergo full FBI vetting. This marks a significant development and could have major implications for the administration's agenda. If you don't know, Donald Trump has basically made it known that not only are they going to do everything in their power to appoint their people during recess, which means no one's going to be grilling them the way Kamala Harris beat the crap out of Brett Kavanaugh, which was artistic. But you're also now going to have no FBI checks. FBI checks that would, you don't even need an FBI check on half of these people. They're literally all accused or convicted sex offenders, like every one of them. So imagine what the FBI information would turn up. But you know what's funny? What's the difference? Because if the ethics panels are run by Trumpers and Senate and Congress are run by Trumpers, really even the Republicans that are going to try and be defiant, at the end, I don't trust Republicans to not vote with Republicans, because we've seen for 10 years now, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, all these people, and I know you have a video, so I'm queuing that one up. All these people talk about how evil Trump is, and now they're Trump's best friend. Well, you're going to see it down to the very last senator and congressperson who goes, we're not going to do this. You're not going to get away with it. Okay, we're voting. Yes, I vote to confirm.
And of course, it's not just his appointees that they're trying to get around background checks are. They're refusing to sign the ethics pledge, which means the entire transition team isn't being investigated and vetted either. So we're bringing all these people into the White House without knowing their entanglements, their connections, their business relationships. It doesn't fucking matter to them anymore.
Well, we're going to talk about one guy later here in the show in probably about 20 minutes named Seb Gorka, who cannot get federal clearance. He cannot get secret clearance. He failed to in the last Trump administration. So
he's an actual like foreign agent. Like full stop.
So all right, before we get into him though, let's talk about Marjorie. So Marjorie Greene, like we said, was promoted. She is now in charge of oversight of, can you imagine waking up being Elon Musk? Think that you're all proud of yourself. You got your own department. You're all happy. You helped overthrow democracy. And then finding out that fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene is your boss. I laughed so hard when I heard this.
There is someone who has a great opinion on that.
AOC. Yes, please pull that up. This is perfect.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is tapped to work with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy as the new the Dodge subcommittee chair. AOC, who is smarter and more hilarious than pretty much everyone in Congress. This is good, actually. She barely shows up and doesn't do the reading. To borrow a phrase I saw elsewhere, it's like giving someone an unplugged controller. I cannot believe how perfectly apt that description is, because really Marge is too dumb to realize she has no actual power. They just placate her to get her vote. She's not like in charge of anything. No one cares what she says. She didn't get an actual role in the administration after fondling Donald Trump for 10 years. She didn't get a post. So
Nothing.
they're like,
So,
here, go.
Of
Yeah,
course, neither
it's
did
a-
anyone with Moms for Liberty after they were
Oh,
sucking up.
that's right. They
oh,
got snubbed as well. That's so good. All right, let me
oh.
play this
Look,
video.
that doesn't
March.
mean the person that's going to take that job
Or
is
any
great,
of
but at
the
least Moms for Liberty.
black people for Trump. Loyalty gets you nothing with him.
Thank you.
Loyalty
Thank
does
you.
the
Trump
only idea of
demands-
loyalty. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Trump demands absolute loyalty, but is loyal to absolutely no. He is loyal to Vladimir Putin and only
That's
Vladimir
true.
Putin.
Because
Other than that, he's
at
loyal
the
to
end
nobody.
at the end of it, Donald Trump is an ignorant little child who never developed any sort of social awareness. He doesn't know what loyalty is because he doesn't want to give loyalty. Loyalty doesn't exist without the reciprocation of it. Okay, that's like respect. Donald Trump doesn't respect anyone. He doesn't have loyalty. If you have a transactional agreement and you deliver, you're loyal. Mike Pence wasn't disloyal because he said anything against Donald Trump. He just, at the moment, didn't do what he wasn't legally allowed to do and hand Donald Trump the election. That's not disloyalty. He was just doing his job. Donald Trump doesn't understand loyalty. He demands obedience. That's it.
I heard today that they're blocking. I'll play this video here in a second, I promise. I heard a video today. They're blocking a promotion of a 3-star general to a 4-star general because he was involved in the Afghanistan withdrawal. I'm like, what the fuck? You want a court martial? Donald Trump gave the order.
The one
Like,
that Donald Trump arranged and agreed and had to be
Right.
followed to the letter. The one that was
Right.
fucked up because he is an idiot.
This general followed his order. And now they're
Yep.
gonna fucking block his dick. These people make me sick. All right, let me play
Look,
this video real quick.
for decades, those of us with brains understand that a large portion of what a sitting president succeeds or fails at is due to what happened before them. Okay. If you actually have the ability to function and look at data and understand things, you can see the ebb and flow and the drag efficient of how those things follow the last person and some of the things bleed over into the next one. So they were always like, let's not forget the one thing Donald Trump's team had beforehand when he was leaving office is he had enough people to think ahead, to get things passed, to take credit for, and to do things to blame Biden for. The Afghan withdrawal was something to be done to blame Joe Biden. That's why he let those Afghan generals go, all those terrorists go.
Yep.
The head of the terrorist group that is now in charge of Afghanistan, Donald Trump, went down, opened the cage himself, figuratively, and let him out as part of the arrangement of them leaving.
And
then invited him to Camp David.
And look at what he did with the taxes when they passed the tax breaks for the rich. There was a gradual reduction in how much the tax breaks affected the individual American that was set to expire right leading up to the 2022 midterms. It's almost like they set it up to make it look like the Democrats were adding more taxes to people when it was really just the way it was always structured by the Trump administration to begin with.
Thank you very much for that. All right, let me play this Marjorie Taylor Greene video, and then we can move on to some of these other idiots. But this is the Elon Musk's new boss, and she's nuts. And the funny part about all this, I keep saying we're going to play this video. I'm going to play the video, and then I'll say what I'm going to say afterwards, just so we get it out of the way.
But they're sick of the trans ideology being shoved down our throats, and it's an attack on women and children all over the country. I don't think Nancy Mace's resolution does enough. I think we need to do more. That's what I asked Speaker Johnson,
What does that even
and he
mean?
committed to me in the conference that that Sarah McBride will not be using our restrooms.
It's been reported that you said you'd get into a physical altercation with a biological male if you saw them in the bathroom. Would you get into a physical altercation with?
How is that reported? How is that reported?
It's been,
How is that reported?
It's been on.
I love
social
how she
media
thinks
that
she's
that was-
So
smarter
how
than
is that reported?
I'm just wondering if you would get into a physical altercation with.
I shouldn't
McBride
have
should
to,
you
but
see-
I shouldn't have to do that. No woman should have to. But look at what men have been doing to women. Look at all the female athletes that have had to compete against men. There's a volleyball player that has brain
This is
damage
great.
today
Listen.
because of a biological male spiking a ball into her head.
I'm sorry. She's an idiot. She's got to be one of the dumbest people in America, and for some reason, people keep elevating her. So, all right, so she's going to be in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, where they're supposed to cut wasteful spending. However, I vaguely remember us talking about her doing a taxpayer-funded hearing on black market baby organ sales. with taxpayer money.
Well, as you know, Jeremy, the black
How was that?
market baby organ market and the trans, insidious trans movement are very linked because
Right.
of just the point is that they are going to continue to weave together this bullshit umbrella of fear about the LGBTQ community, trans people. Next, it's going to be trans illegal immigrants that are trying to take over sports. They're going to start arresting baseball players that like to wear nail polish. My point is that it doesn't matter. None of what they're saying is real. It's a continued smokescreen based on their bigotry, and they will make laws and make people's lives terrible just to tell a few group of people, look, we did it. We did it just for you, Christian nationalists. We did it so you could be bigots out in the open, because no one's calling for this. There are no citizen-led groups that aren't funded by Republican money machines, Moms for Liberty, that are actually saying anything about trans people. No one actually cares who uses what fucking bathroom, Tammy.
Right.
And it's just going to hurt real people who just want to live our lives and actually be happy with who we are.
Exactly. Thank you.
You want to be as miserable as the rest of us, but like equally
Actually, no, I want to be more miserable than you because I chose to be a woman in the United States.
True. That's true. Fair enough.
I chose to be much more miserable than I was before, theoretically. I'm a lot happier with who I am. The world can fuck itself.
And maybe that's the key, because these people are so closetly miserable for whatever reason. I'm not saying everyone that hates gay people is gay, but they hate something about themselves that they have to take out on other people. And that's what this administration is going to do. And we have more things we're going to look at. Yep.
So, all right, moving on to some of Trump's cabinet picks.
Where do we want to go?
Well, let's start with Matt Gaetz. He was a cabinet pick, and then he dropped out of Congress to avoid being exposed as a sexual predator. And now he is upgraded to Cameo.
Oh, yes.
And we have one of his videos for you.
Wait, really?
This is truly humiliating, man. Like, imagine being in Congress and now this has got to suck.
Hey, Lisa Kovac, it's your favorite former Congressman, Matt Gaetz. I just wanted to thank you for being a longtime patriot, for supporting President Trump through thick and thin. And I know you were bummed out when the news broke that I wouldn't be the next Attorney General. We did get a great replacement in Pam Bondi. She's going to do an awesome job. You have nothing to worry about. But hey, listen, I'm still going to be in the fight for you and your family. And I know things are tough right now dealing with your car and Bruce, and I wish him a very speedy recovery. So next time you visit Florida, as everyone should do very frequently, make sure to pay a visit with your lovely Aunt Kathy. Stop by and say hello. Also, say hello to your mother, Carol, for me. And have a Merry Christmas. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Like, people pay for this stuff?
Dude, it was like $500, his cameos.
And people are paying Matt Gaetz $500 to just send
I would not want Gaetz knowing who my family is. That creeps me out just hearing
I wouldn't want
exactly names.
Ew, that made me uncomfortable.
And hang out. I'm so grossed out with this guy. He's a pervert. But he did mention his replacement, Pam Bondi, who I believe we do have some information on, don't we?
Let me. Okay, so, shit, she's wearing that hat in that picture, my bad. There's one story I didn't want to actually put the time in to tell that has to do with, honestly, let me take this off while I'm speaking, why she's a piece of garbage. Long story short is she accepted basically a bribe to not prosecute Donald Trump in one of his earlier bullshit fraud cases. That is fact. That is not us making that up. I just honestly rather make fun of how stupid she is and petty. So she refused to return a dog to a family of a Katrina victim, all right, a Katrina victim's family, after she, quote, adopted their dog. She fought them in court for 16 months before she gave the dog back. Her response of why she wouldn't give the dog back:
these people are garbage.
We fell in love with the dog and she became such a part of our family. You took that dog.
Get another dog.
And if someone's family survives a plane crash and they go, "Oh wow, thank you for keeping our dog alive. I know dogs are wonderful and you fell in love with our dog, but that's our family. Thank you for taking, in fact, here, we'll buy you a replacement dog. We'll buy you 5 dogs. Give us our one dog." And she's like, "You want me to Christy Gnome that dog? Go fuck off."
Speaking
I'll
of
do
other
it. I'll
people
Christy
who are
Gnome
in
that
the
dog.
cabinet running.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I don't
I
know
mean,
much
understood.
about.
the scariest part is she's maybe one of the most qualified people for the role.
I was gonna say
She
that.
was Florida's AG, and that's
Yeah.
really scary. The most
It's
qualified
terrible.
person is one of the most unethically awful people.
Yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
know,
not
right?
most. This is a really, really
No, yeah. You
high
can't
There
say
are-
that.
clear for most unethical, but she's
There
up
are a
there.
couple people on that are actually qualified to do the job, but some of these
She's a
people
douchebag, but there are people that are actually.
they're all horrible people. They're all horrible
Yes.
people. I think the Surgeon
different
General
degrees.
she is a doctor, but she's also a Fox News host. It's like Donald Trump is in central casting. This is not a cabinet. This is a cast for a reality show.
That's
I mean,
all
you
Trump
got
thinks
bad
of.
one.
Jeff, who is a major in the National Guard, never served in the Army proper. He was in the National Guard.
Yeah,
He was
that's
a
right.
major, didn't even make lieutenant colonel or colonel before you hit general. What
Yep.
leadership experience is that?
Right.
Now
He's
you're
never
in charge of
been
Department
in
of
charge
Defense.
of a single battalion, yet alone an entire army.
Wait, we're
filled
talking about
with
Hegseth?
3
Sorry,
Well, we will. But
distraction.
no, we had to bring
Bro
him up.
has fucking crusade tattoos on him.
Yeah.
And
mean,
not
he's
just
part of
crusade
it.
tattoos, crusade tattoos championing an order that was all about the concept of proselytizing and wiping out the planet in the name of Christianity.
Yeah,
I
he's
haven't-
part of a unit that's accused of war crimes, and he's publicly on record saying the Geneva Convention should be optional if the
Oh,
enemy
yeah.
is not abiding by the Geneva Conventions.
Now
But by that,
he
then everyone would just not buy a.
he's
You've
one of
got
the
it.
people that they don't want to do the FBI background check. He's one of the people they don't want to they want to just, quietly rush through. This is probably the most dangerous choice of all because of a tweet that I found or a repost that Donald Trump did. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Tom Fitton, who is not an attorney but plays one on Twitter.
Oh,
Good
like
news.
Dr. Phil and
Reports
Dr.
are
Oz?
coming in that the Donald Trump administration prepared to declare national emergency and will use the military assets to reverse Biden invasion through mass deportation program. Donald Trump reposted, quotes, true. Donald Trump is planning on using the military on the American population. How the fuck do you not get that through your heads? And now he has a Nazi with Pete Hegseth who's going to do whatever he wants. I mean, this is why he's picking these people.
See, this is the thing. He's picking people that he knows. How about this? Let me rephrase that because it's not true. He's not completely picking people that his base will like because he also picked a gay man who is a George Soros money manager. So that goes all of the things out of the window that the Republicans say they hate
I know,
and
right?
the base is against.
Soros
But
boogeyman.
he knows enough to not care who is in his cabinet. Because let's face it, Donald Trump isn't making any of these decisions. And the reason we know he's not is because half of them were on the list of Project 2025. They are literally following the actual list.
We told
People
you.
who wrote and were recommended by Project 2025. So they're picking the people to put into practice the agenda that people like us and many other shows, many other bigger shows, and hopefully, unfortunately, will probably ever be people that are doing good work and telling people this is what's going to happen. And before the guy even takes office, it's already starting to happen. Look who he's picking. If you decided that Kamala Harris was not the person for you and you were going to sit out this election, the fact that he has about a 1.6% lead over Kamala in the end of the votes proves that you screwed us over because you couldn't make a big adult decision. It's happening. Look at what he's doing. They're banning an actual congressperson from using a bathroom. They didn't get ahead and go, look, we're writing all these bills ahead of time to help you with your taxes. We're going to write all these bills ahead of time to make sure that when we're in there, we can get you a job. They're like, that one person can't shit next to me.
And just so everybody knows, Russia, if you still don't think Donald Trump is involved with Russia, well, Russia is now telling Donald Trump what to do with his new military power. If you don't believe me, I have the fucking tweet right here. Okay, I can't read the name because obviously it's Cyrillic alphabet, but recommendations for action: restructuring the Department of Defense, tags Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Why the fuck is he tagging Elon Musk? I wonder. Maybe this document, and I don't have the document because it's long. This document outlines recommendations for a comprehensive restructuring of the Department of Defense. This is Russia telling Donald Trump what he needs to do. They're giving Donald Trump orders. If you think Donald Trump is in charge, you're the most fucking naive person in this country.
If you want to see how hilarious it is that Russia is giving the United States advice on how to structure their military. Remember the big scary Russian bear that was going to wipe out Ukraine in 4 seconds? Well, it's the Ukrainian fighters with, unfortunately, but I understand, our munitions. Russia isn't a superpower. They just have nuclear weapons that may or may not even work anymore. They're not a superpower. Their military is run by oligarchs who own the factories that produce the weapons that the military uses. Remember at the beginning of the war when they were pulling out tank traps and weapons from World War II museums? I don't know that we should be taking military advice from Russia.
This is a 3-day war that's now over 1,000 days. And for anyone who's hearing that we're sending them anti-personnel mines and terror, the ones that have been designed by the United States because we don't believe in that are ones that are time blocked. They'll deactivate after a certain amount of time. This is not going to leave the minefields we have through the old Soviet bloc.
It's not Cambodia.
You step on a lifetime later and it's still killing people.
I want to respond to that comment real quick. That Say What has a very good point, because they're actually talking about if you go to public school, not a private school, if you go to a public funded school, you have to enter the draft, or you have to
private school. No, because only the rich kid's going to go there. But private school, you're fodder for the bullets for the oil fields. That's what it is.
Yeah. So all right. So here is Der Fuhrer at Mar-a-Lago doing his famous dance, which we have dubbed face dicking. This is such a joke. Like, I'm embarrassed that this is going to be our leader. There he goes, doing his...
he doesn't even know where he is.
No. We'll do it in slow motion.
He squeaks when he does that?
He's probably shitting himself while he does it, to be honest.
Oh, do you think that's how he gets it to move through his old rusty Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know why I said that. That's gross.
And here's the video... Tammy, I want your opinion on this. Okay, this is the video that has the internet going crazy, thinking that Donald Trump... All right, so recently there was a report of ambulances leaving Mar-a-Lago with Secret Service details and a helicopter escort, okay? Of course, Stephen Chong was like, it's just a training exercise. But then people...
What does that even mean, a training exercise?
Right, I don't know. But here's the video.
Death.
Yeah, well, here's a video why people are saying this. I played it through in slow motion again, but it just doesn't. It doesn't look like Trump, and if it is Trump, his lip, it looks like he had a stroke because his lip is literally sagging. But this is during the SpaceX launch.
Sorry.
Go! Hold on, Tammy. I got it zoomed in here.
Dude, he looks like he's dead standing up.
Look at him.
Ronnie Jackson has a hand up his ass propping him up. Yo, he doesn't even know where he is.
He looks terrible.
Always just stared blankly at whatever he's doing. He is so detached from most events. He really doesn't engage that well with anything.
But he does not look good. He does not look good at all.
He hasn't looked good for a while. Mike, you're muted for some reason.
I'm an idiot.
So, what else I gotta say? So Donald Trump, I haven't seen much of him lately, to be honest with you. I haven't seen much of JD Vance.
You know who we have? I was just gonna say JD Vance is off plotting a Nazi parade.
Right? I heard he's trying to muscle or strong arm all the senators into confirming all these crazy picks. But here's another reason why Pete Hegseth is extremely dangerous, because this is once what Donald Trump suggested, an actual purge, okay? And they are using that word in Congress over and fucking over again.
The
Purge,
more you
purge,
use a
purge.
word, the more people get used to it.
Exactly. So
If
here,
you can
this is an old
get
video.
someone to accept absurdities, you can get them to accept atrocities.
Why can no one say that without keeping their eyes open? Like, you had to close your eyes to say that. I do the same thing.
Tongue twister.
Yeah,
I
I don't
realized
know.
I was about to stutter over it, so I had to think my way through
Yep.
it.
This is why I am so terrified of what's about to happen.
Out that the 950 is a misnomer because you can steal whatever you want, you can go way above. But you'd see, originally you saw kids walk in with calculators. They were calculating. They didn't want to go over the $950. They're standing with calculators, adding it up. You know, these are smart people. They're not so stupid, but they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, he's a great congressman. Would you say, Mike, that if you were in charge, you would say, oh, please, don't touch them, don't touch them, let them rob your store. All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent, then the city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out, and it will end immediately. Immediately.
He is talking about killing people.
If you
and
terrorize your
causing-
population, they'll do whatever you tell them to do.
Oh, this isn't
He's trying
new.
to exactly.
This isn't
trying to
new.
subjugate.
I watched the BLM situation happening 30 minutes to my south in DC when they are sending a shield wall full of police at protesters who were yelling, but that was the level of any violence. And
You're
they're
allowed to
bringing out
yell.
tear gas. They're attacking people. They're coming
Right.
through on horses so Donald Trump can hold a Bible upside down on the steps of a historic church.
I can't
Like
believe
he
he had
has
one job.
ever cared about committing violence against the citizens of the United States if it's inconvenient for them to be there for him. This
Right.
isn't
So
new.
He's suggesting a day of extreme violence. Okay. He said very extreme. Okay. So extreme violence. And he's doing it to try and intimidate the rest of us into submitting.
You know what really worries me, I mean, amongst everything, is if you really look at what he's saying there. Yes, he is suggesting that what we need to do is have police and military. If someone steals a piece of candy, we go in there and we shoot about 400,000 rounds into them, into their pudding. And that will convince everyone to be compliant. But that is not, in my mind, what the true motive is, because the way you make a country a true fascist state is you destroy the laws that protect from those actions. So when suddenly being safe from unreasonable search and seizure suddenly disappears, and, you know, not punishing people in any way that's extreme and beyond, you know, acceptable recourse, when there are no constitutional protections on how the police and military have to treat citizens, suddenly they could do whatever they want to teach your ass a lesson. And that's what the true goal is, the dismantling of the Constitution.
And hey, not only that, but guess what? He's only talking about doing it in the cities where people vote against him. And
Yeah, he's not going to go shoot a bunch of
so
cow
they can send
farmers.
people to the private prisons who are going to then be forced into prison labor.
Maybe they are talking about sending the National Guard from red states into blue states. They're actually talking about invading one state to another. Oh my God. I fucking dare you to come to my house.
Someone on Instagram just responded about Tulsi Gabbard being the person they fear the most. And I know we have some information on that.
Oh my God. Thank you for bringing that up, because I was trying to figure out how to work that in. But here we found out that Trump's Intel pick was placed on government watch lists for overseas travel and foreign connections. Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump's pick to lead the intelligence community, was briefly placed on a terrorist watch list that prompts additional security screening before flights for her overseas travel. And this, of course, has people extremely worried, because she will be in charge of 18 security agencies, and she will have access to our nation's most treasured secrets.
God.
And she is a Russian asset that Russia has confirmed works.
Is a
them.
Russian asset.
Like,
Well,
we're not
we have
making
other
that
Russian
up. They
assets.
said it. They're like, oh yeah, she's ours. You know what I mean?
Now keep in mind, Donald Trump doesn't like immigrants. He made sure that the people who hate immigrants, all of you who voted for him, are like-minded. But yet, he's putting a lot of people that have direct ties to foreign countries or are themselves immigrants into our government. I'm not opposed to immigrants being in our government. You know why?
No.
I'm not a bigot. But
Right.
I'm opposed to people who are known to be associated with scumbacious organizations and other things. For example, Tulsi Gabbard's a problem. What about Sebastian Gorka?
Ha!
Let's go into this
wow.
guy. Let me pull
Yeah.
some of this up. If you don't know
Donald
who he
Trump.
is.
Director of Counterintelligence, right here, baby. This is a doozy.
So this guy was born in October 1970. He's a British Hungarian American media host. By the way, just hold on a minute. There's like 5 people that were Fox hosts now in Trump's cabinet. Like, I just want to point that out.
He's Newsmax.
Great. Okay. Anyway, and a commentator currently affiliated with Salem Radio Network and Newsmax, and a former U.S. government official. He served in the first Trump administration as deputy assistant to the president for 7 months, because no one actually lasted their full job. But what people don't understand about him is the Nazi tie. So he was on television years ago sporting war medals that were pro-Nazi, that had to do with a order that was founded by Nazis. The order was founded in 1920 by Miklos Horthy, who served as regent of Hungary until 1944 and comprised his supporters. Horthy was an ally of Adolf Hitler and collaborated with the Nazis throughout most of World War II. During the war, he confiscated Jewish property and was distributed to members of the order by the Hungarian government.
You know what? We fucking called this. We have been saying this is Nazism for the last year. This is more than fascism. It is directly Nazism.
What people need to understand, and Tammy, I'm going to say this, and I know you're going to smile. There is more than just a cursory link between Christian nationalism and Nazism. Even if they didn't have a hand-in-hand relationship, which, by the way, go look at the history of the church being okay with the final solution. Their ideals align so in lockstep and barrel for
not
whatever.
lockstep, goose step.
I was trying to get there and I stopped myself. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I was literally trying to get goose step out.
All right.
Yes.
So
they're the same organization. Yeah, I know. They're basically the same thing. Nazism is the Trump doctrine. There is no way around it.
It is Project 2025 is a Nazi playbook. That's what it is. We need to stop. People need to stop sugarcoating it. Oh, it's like fascism. Oh, he's saying things that are kind of like Hitler. No, this motherfucker is straight up quoting Hitler, and they're ready to implement shit like the whole migrant thing. They're putting them in concentration camps. Like how many? What the fuck? They're not going to deport
camps.
They're not deporting anybody. They're not deporting anybody. They're going to put them in camps and they're going to fucking forget about them until they starve to death, or they're going to turn them into a slave labor force. They are not going to
pick our food.
Right, they're not going to spend billions upon billions of dollars. They would rather keep for themselves to take people and put them back to their country of origins. Like, this is not going to happen.
It's what we've been doing with private prisons for years. It's the prison labor for cents per day, so we can say it's not slavery. And it's been going on for years with these private prisons.
And
they're just going to turn camps into that, and they've threatened my community with it at times as well. So,
Jeremy, you brought this up not too long ago, where as soon as he won, all the stocks in private prisons went through the fucking roof.
And Texas,
because they know what's coming.
Texas, I believe, is willing to donate like 1,400 acres. There's half.
I'm sure they were so willing to donate it.
Like, I'm not surprised. I mean, Texas is battling Florida for the most fascist state in the United States. But let me play this video. I have a video of Seb Gorka. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But this is just, I just want to play this because one is deranged. It's mental. But this is the guy who's going to be in charge of Donald Trump's counterintelligence. And I'd like to remind everybody that he couldn't get a security clearance last time. He cannot pass an FBI background check. Obviously.
I wonder why they wanted not do them.
Fuck. Well, here's the video. It's weird as hell, man.
This is
so weird.
Something.
I knew this day would come, but I didn't expect it so soon. Thanks to the actions and statements of Nancy Pelosi in the last 48 hours, the president has brought forth his decision, and the Kraken has been unleashed. With his decision tonight to allow the Attorney General to declassify any information relating to the illegal surveillance against his presidential campaign and his administration, we will find out who began the biggest political scandal in American history and where the responsibility lies. Watch in the next 2 days the rats, the hyenas start to eat each other.
What the
That's the worst audition for a movie villain I've ever seen in my life. My crap.
Over actor of the year, bro.
Rats.
Yeah,
You
what
had
the guy just watched The Lion King for the first time and thought Scar was the good guy. That's what
Lions,
just happened.
tigers, and bears. Oh my! All
Oh,
the
yeah.
animals they're
I
afraid
love how
of.
he's talking. It's so you have brought forth the Kraken. What?
The Kraken will rise.
Like you're not intimidating, man. You just look like a moron. So yeah, he's like.
Oh, that comment. That one wins.
Yeah, that part in Blazing Saddles, he's like, what are your qualifications? He's like, murder. What he says that rape, kidnapping,
Rape,
murder, and rape. He's like, you said rape already. He's like, I really like rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is one of the most inappropriate movies in the world.
Yeah, but I love it.
However,
Oh my
it's
God.
done in intentional mockery.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's
Well, that's what I liked
blatantly
about Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
He always pushed boundaries when it came to stuff like that. Okay, so we keep getting off
God, I
topic.
love Mel Brooks.
So we got Gorka out of the way. So now we got to talk about the main character of this whole thing. Actually,
RFK Jr.?
no, I'm sorry. Let me play this video or this audio that recently came out. RFK Jr., who pretty much calls all of MAGA belligerent idiots and bootlickers. So I can't wait to see the reaction to this one. Here you go.
You know, one of the things that you write so beautifully, and your stuff is so fun to read, but you write about Trump. Quote, the way that you build a truly vicious nationalist movement is to wed a relatively small core of belligerent idiots to a much larger group of opportunists and spineless fellow travelers whose primary function is to turn a blind eye to things. We may not have that many outright Nazis in America, but we have plenty of cowards and bootlickers. And once those fleshy dominoes start tumbling into the Trump camp, the game is up. When you talk about fleshy dominoes, Chris Christie comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew, fleshy dominoes. What the
We
fuck?
don't have
But
enough
he's the one who
Nazis
fell
in
in line.
America. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
guess
oh,
he's
exactly.
dominant now.
We don't have enough Nazis in America, but we have plenty of stupid people. Like, what, dude?
Mike,
Whoa.
you're muted again.
Wow. Wow.
I think we need to make a
It
stupid
is-
people joke here.
Yeah, oh yeah. I need a dunce hat on top of my conspiracy cap.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
I love how RFK is just another one of these people that shows you how much they hated Trump, whether it was their genuine opinion or they were trying to win favor in another way. But now they all love Trump. But if you want to know anything about RFK Jr., it's that the fact that dental stocks have been rallying amid predictions that RFJ's campaign against fluoride could lead to increased office visits. Yes, that's right, folks. RFK Jr. wants to get rid of the fluoride in your water so that all of your teeth rot. And we live in a country where dental care is only for the rich. So technically, no one's going to have teeth anymore.
And he also thinks that the water makes frogs gay. He does believe that as well. And charge a
the water makes frogs gay. The orange juice makes, I don't know, capybaras trans. I don't know. I mean, I just went with capybara because they're recently one of my favorite animals.
Right.
That's
It's
all I got.
all about, did you kiss the ring?
It's kiss his ring and kiss the orange ring, the brown ring.
Yeah.
All right.
Like that.
The last
meant
person that we are going to talk about today, and we're at an hour right now, so we're going to try and get this out of the way in like 10 minutes here, is Russ Vogt. We've talked about Russ Vogt before. Tammy,
I heard those
you know what. Yeah, so Russ Vogt is one of the main architects, if not the architect of Project 2025. And guess what? He is now in charge of the Office of Budget and Management. So he's going to be the one handling our budget. So if you're on any kind of social assistance, kiss it goodbye. Medicaid, food stamps,
Medicaid,
government employees.
Everybody's getting screwed.
Living
and
near
he's in charge.
DC.
So those
I have way too many friends who are terrified whether or not they're going to have a job starting next year. This is exactly what we need: are higher prices, massive unemployment from people gone from the government. It sounds like a absolutely rip-roaring great economy right there.
Yeah, but we'll be done with the deep state, Tammy. Don't you understand? He's just trying to help.
All right. Yeah, they're going after the deep state and replacing it with complete morons. But here is Russell Vogt. He's actually defending Matt Gaetz. And he's talking to Tucker Carlson, if that gives you any idea.
Mr. Sunball.
I read in my Bible this morning that you don't believe something unless 2 or 3 people are witnesses and say, and there is none of that. In fact,
that's Mosaic law right there.
In fact,
but there's nothing in the Bible.
The weaponized Department of Justice said we don't have the proof to pursue these allegations.
I know.
And so then you read in the story.
But they accused him of it.
They accuse it. They make the case. The reporter read it this morning. And then they say it should be known that Matt Gaetz denies that these allegations has occurred. Of course he denies it because they're not true in the Department of Justice. There's no accounting of the fact that these things have been proven not to be true. And yet people. And there's a tendency on our side, and this is very troubling. It's not just the left, which is kind of state regime propaganda. There's a tendency on our side to believe that if there's smoke, there must be fire.
Sorry.
So he's saying that
I thought I was muted. I wasn't muted right just then.
He's saying it's objectively proven to be untrue, yet the Senate Ethics Committee was proving it and about to nail his ass to the wall, so he quit so he wouldn't get in trouble. Is that
and they were hiding the ethics report.
I believe you have a list of all the people involved in Project 2025 that have been appointed. Or didn't you read off a whole bunch of names?
Hasn't been even announced yet, but is considered to be coming as well.
Yeah.
So
before we have
be up to 6, if my count's correct.
Yeah, I think so. You named them all, and they were all terrifying.
Russ Vogt. We got Brandon Carr, charge the FCC, who's going to be, we'll see if we're on the air next year.
Chapter about communications and propaganda in Project 2025.
Yep. So all these people that Donald Trump says he did not know. He'd never met them before. I know nothing about Project 2025. Well, for somebody who doesn't know shit about Project 2025, you sure seem to be hiring a lot of the people involved.
Know about. That's the thing. I still maintain.
We know he hasn't
Trump may have been privy to at one point. The guy's brain is pudding. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's not capable of organizing a staffing of a government. Okay, what he is capable of doing is what he's done his whole life: criminally build his way to the top and get a bunch of schmucks to run the crimes for him. Those schmucks that are running the crimes are the ones that have been trying to take over our government for decades. Project 2025, Christian nationalists. Those are the people that are staffing our government, are getting ready to take over our government, and those are the people he's naming. He's naming every one of them. They're either pedophiles. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that word. They're either sexual assault offenders, convicted or accused, or they're Project 2025 authors. Like, that's it. That's who he's staffed, or they're Russian agents. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Our government, our future government. So, but Russ Vogt was exposed, and we were hoping this was the nail in the coffin. Like, he admitted on camera to some undercover British journalists who posed as right-wing donors that Donald Trump is going to go out and say he's not involved in Project 2025 because he's perfectly. That was the plan the whole time. But here he is saying it.
In an ideal world, I mean, I think we could save the country in a sense of, the largest deportation in history. And once that starts, you're going to be winning a debate along the way about what that looks like, right? Yeah. And so that's going to cause us to get us off of multiculturalism just to be able to sustain and defend the deportation, right? If we're going to have legal immigration, can we get people that actually believe in Christianity? Is that something, or do we have to have, are we not allowed to ask questions about Sharia law? So I want to make sure that we can say we're a Christian nation, and my viewpoint is mostly that I would probably be Christian nationism. That's pretty close to Christian nationalism. Because I also believe in nationalism.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, that was the wrong clip. But he admitted, again, like I said, that Donald Trump's just going to say he's not involved. But that clip, yes, that clip is to prove to everybody that your freedom of religion is fucked. It's non-existent. You will no longer be allowed to be a whatever you want. They want.
Well, you're free to be a
everybody-
Christian.
Yeah,
You
right
be a
now
Christian
you're
all you
free to
want.
be a Christian, but pretty soon you're going to be forced to be a Christian, which is pretty
If you're
much
not
the Christian
Christian,
MO.
you better damn well follow the Christian ideals anyways. Not
That's
that
what I mean.
we're seeing the Christians following anything having
Hey, now.
Christ.
They want they want us, right?
Ah.
They want us to live by the Bible while they go out and be the most degenerate. Like, honestly, if you need a book,
They don't
filled
want us
with-
to live by the Bible. Don't fool yourself. Living by the
Yeah, that's
Bible
true.
would be what we are, progressive.
Right.
Very
Yeah, that-
progressive if you're
Right.
following the actual message of Christ. Plus,
Mhm.
there's not a goddamn thing in the Bible about trans or gay. There's plenty about
Yeah, but you got to
abortion, which is
understand
how to
everything
perform.
about shellfish and not eating pork on Tuesdays. If you understand it, that really means trans. So you got to really understand the Bible
As
to
opposed
manipulate
to
the
that
Bible.
they
know
did
what's hilarious?
with cooking techniques, and it was possibility of getting like
Yes.
massively sick for eating a lot of these things at the time.
Well,
without
that's-
proper prep techniques and whatnot.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what they mean, catching trans. That's
Oh,
what it's
absolutely. Yeah.
This
so
actually,
related.
this video actually goes perfectly
hate
with the
people
one
so
slide
much.
that you made, Mike, about Texas Bible School or Texas Bible lessons. So we
God.
just heard Russ Vogt say that all of us are going to be Christians, and
Well,
then now we have
They
this.
believe it. So the
Ah.
Texas State School Board on Friday approved an optional elementary school curriculum that includes Bible-based lessons that critics have said inappropriately promote Christian beliefs in public classrooms. In its final vote Friday, the State Education Board decided in an 8-7 vote to approve the curriculum. The materials were created this year by the Texas Education Agency after a new law required the department to make a statewide curriculum for school districts to use after approval from the Education Board.
It's not a
That-
required curriculum, but you won't get funding unless you do it, or excuse me, you'll get extra funding for each
Yes, you'll
student
get sufficient funding.
subjected to this curriculum. Let's just
But-
call it what it is.
That's really just to help support the 10 Commandments being up in every classroom, because we all know third graders really got to be reminded about adultery. Just saying.
And
Yeah.
clearly, there's a lot of people that need to be reminded about adultery, but they're all being proposed for the cabinet or sitting in.
Well,
the
it's,
House
you know,
again.
it's funny. I've been saying, and I'm not just me, I'm not that smart, but like how The Handmaid's Tale is such a blueprint or a prophecy about where we're headed. And one of the things that for some reason came to my mind in us talking right now about how it's, you know, be loyal to your spouse, but you could do it. I could do whatever I want. There's a big thing, a big story arc in Handmaid's Tale where all these men that are running the country, they're not allowed to have sex for fun. It's just to procreate. And the women that they marry typically can't have kids. So they have sex slaves and broodmares that they rape to get pregnant. But they all go to these dens of sin, if you will, where there's alcohol and prostitutes of every age, race, gender, whatever. And they're all getting down the business because when it comes to it, the elite class will take all of the fun for themselves and keep you miserable, poor, sad, and unfed and hating each other so you won't rise up and
Is
kill
that
them.
the equivalent of when Republican events show up in a city and grinder use goes way up? Is
I
that-
know, right? What?
I think that has exactly the same
Just
thing.
saying.
You know, I watched the interview. I think it was Luke Beasley did. He interviewed this
Yep.
young MAGA couple, and the guy was like, "Sex is only for procreation. If it's not for procreation, it's gay sex.
good.
I don't want to have gay sex." Like, wait. So every time you have sex, you have a baby. Like, do you understand what the hell you're saying, or are you just
They don't.
eating?
If gay
They're just
sex is
parents.
all about pleasure.
No original thought.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
There's
it actually
not-
Been
is.
enjoying
there-
it greatly with my girlfriend. Thank you.
Yeah, there
That's
is
actually
not-
really funny. Like, yes.
And my parts don't even
There's-
work right anymore. Thanks, estrogen. Actually, that
Yeah,
doesn't
Yay.
matter at all to me.
Well-
It's like, no, go ahead, Mike. I'm not gonna
No,
say.
no. I was gonna say because we're having fun, but like I just want to reiterate the parts of today's show that really do terrify me. You talk about estrogen, and it's fun to joke in context, but that's going to go away, right? Gender affirming care, they like to pretend that they're just chopping up kids, but
Mhm.
affirming care from the chemical level, from that type of standpoint, is 99.99999% adults. So what's
Mhm.
that going to look like, Tammy, when there's a large portion of people that are not having access to the medicine that is keeping their health better, their mental health better, giving them everything that they need to be who they are, and suddenly that's going to be ripped away so that a few people can wave a flag with a cross on it? Like, that's
Yeah.
coming.
It's going to
And-
result in a lot of people dead because most of us aren't going to be able to live
Yep.
through that. It's going to be
Mhm.
extremely damaging, and I don't want to imagine having to go back.
I
And
know.
before I even dig into how that affects the trans community, women, period, are
Mhm.
going to be
Yep.
affected if they rip away my gender affirming care. I'll say this loudly again. It's bodily autonomy, period. Also, it's women's health care. I take
Ding.
3 of the same little blue pill that is used as a contraceptive, estradiol, synthetic hormones. I take
Mhm.
3 of those every single morning as part of my hormone replacement therapy. That's women's birth control. That's used to help with polycystic ovarian syndrome pain. That's used to help with pain from endometriosis, for painful periods and irregular periods. Every
Mhm.
single one of these things are part of gender affirming care for cis women as well,
Yeah.
because that's what it
They
is. It's
they don't care
affirming
about
their
women.
gender and helping them live within the body they have.
Right. But
Well,
men
look,
will
we all
be
know
able to take
just one last
testosterone.
thing. We all know women are hysterical, Tammy. So the pains you feel are really not that bad. No one knows what it's like to be a man and get kicked in the balls.
Hey,
I mean,
Oh, I can
period.
I don't
tell
know.
you that
If
the
you want to
cramps
say,
are worse.
yo,
I
watch a
know, I
video
know.
on TikTok. Watch a TikTok video where they're doing the period cramp simulator and tell
I
me,
want to do that. I
guys
want to
have, I
experience
want to
that.
try it, but the guys look
You
like
No,
they have,
really.
You
I
do
I
not
want to
take
know.
my word.
dude, the
It finds
dudes
any
look like
smooth
they
muscle
are in,
tissue on the body, and it just cramps that up. For me,
I
they,
it
don't
usually
look at it.
targets my legs, and
there's this
I
one
can
person,
barely walk
I don't
there's this
look at it
one
like
whenever
a
it
video.
joke,
does that.
honestly. I think that's something like, just like in my job, I think every engineer should spend a year trying to build shit so they understand how to not design something like a moron. Every man at some point should be hooked to one of those machines and be like, now shut the
There's a
fuck up.
I'm gonna have
That's
to
what I
find a
think.
video. We'll play it on the show. But there's a family where they decided to put on two guys put on. Well, the daughter controlled it. They put on. They went to a library. They went to a public library, and they were
That's
they
funny.
turned it up. And you should hear some of the involuntary screams come out of these men. They were very high pitched and sharp.
Yeah, oh,
I mean,
yeah,
he
I'm
was
sure.
genuinely in
And
pain.
we bear it
But,
in silence with a little bit
yep.
of Tylenol, and
And
yeah, it hurts
that's it.
like hell, and the emotional mood swings are a thing, but mostly it's the please get me food because I'm
Yeah.
craving
Right.
everything, which is not that much different than when I smoke cannabis at night and get the munchies.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, really, that's not that much different. But
I
yeah,
think we're headed for a place where people's basic lives are going to be far more dangerous to live, where the assurances of a fair, safe life, pursuit of happiness, all that stuff, is really only going to be delegated out to the very top people that control this country, control all of our lives, all of our jobs, all of our happiness, all of our identities. What we buy, what we watch, who we talk to, who we identify as. That's where we're headed. And it's not a joke, but my fuck, if we don't laugh along the way, we'll all lose our minds. So
I
I
agree.
don't want anyone to ever think we're laughing to trivialize any of this, because if
No.
you've ever watched us, you've watched, Jeremy and I alone getting mad 1,000 times over this stuff. We need some levity moving forward, but we need to be serious. We need to call it out. Tammy, I know what it took for you to get back on here, of so much soul searching and mental health care just to come back on a camera, and we appreciate it. We don't want people to think this was easy for you or anyone. It's just, we got to get ready.
you all can see how tapped in I am with
Oh, yeah.
politics constantly
Oh,
by
yeah.
the information I come up in with, the facts that
Of
I'm
course.
coming in saying. I had to spend a week and a half not looking at any of it. It's the first time I haven't watched one of my political channels that I follow closely in almost 3 years, that I
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
watched every single one of their videos every
Yep.
day. As a starting point for my news research, I couldn't look. I was
It's
terrified.
hard.
The only thing I was looking at is what countries are safe for trans people to go to.
I
That
know.
was my only political research for several days, and I'm still not
Self-preservation.
sure how that all
You know-
is going to work. But that's what I had to think about, and I have to think about how is that going to work monetarily? How do I live? How badly does that disrupt a life that I've built in this area? And I'm not talking about work. I've recently started a new job. I'm talking about the fact that I have a community of other trans people in my area that are my close friends that I see frequently. I have a community of friends that I love and support me. I have my family, biological, that does still support me and love me. I have all of this here, and that might have to go away the moment they propose taking away my gender affirming care, because people are turning their backs on us. And if we show up and protest, all 1% of us at once, it's just making us easier to round up.
Yep.
The reality is, if people don't stand for us, it really is first they came for the trans.
Honestly,
Yes. And that's what Jeremy said.
Not going quietly. We have to be loud, because people are turning away from us. And if we're not loud enough, people aren't even going to remember we're here when we're gone.
I'm even considering relocating. I'm honestly, I'm actually because of this show, because I want to continue doing this show as long as possible. I'm in a very red city in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania voted for Donald Trump. I'm actually considering going to either Boston or out of California. I was actually born in Monterey. I was actually considering going back out west. Obviously, I don't have the money to do it yet, but they might be the last two states to survive this whole mess if we don't fight.
This is the type of thing, again, there's a weird balance between some of us who might have to run, some of us who might want to run. You know, I, as a cis het white guy, I could play the game and pretend I hate everyone and pledge allegiance, and that'll be the end of me. I'll be fine. Not everyone gets to hide that easily in the new white America. But at the same time, I know. But at the same time, my wife is like, I don't know that I want to live in a country where my healthcare is the least priority of anyone in this country. You know what I mean?
I know,
like, so
right?
there are people that are looking to flee because this country has failed all of us. Some more than others, some historically far longer than others. But this isn't a safe place for democracy and progress anymore. And unfortunately, there are people that may have to make the choice to flee. And for them, I will do everything I can to support them. I'm going to do what I can to raise voices, raise awareness, and keep letting people know they have support. But we don't know what's coming. We don't. And we just have to keep yelling. Jeremy said it. We got to stay together. This is about unity. The right has always been unified around hate and their ignorance. We have to be unified in our compassion, our support, and our love for each other, because that's what separates us. I can care about someone I've never met before because they're a fellow human being. It's not that freaking complicated. The Republicans are incapable of that. For them, they need a checklist, and you better follow. For me, I don't give a shit. Just don't
not a monolith. And if we can't figure out how to come together, we will die apart.
Unity is strength. And that's why the Republican Party is currently running us over, because we are so fucking unorganized and so against one another for stupid reasons that these guys are taking everything from us. And I refuse to let it happen. So, Tammy, thanks for coming on today. Unfortunately, I have to go to work.
Thanks for giving me a voice as usual.
Anytime you want to come on, you can you can always, we got your back. You know that. We're allies of every community except for MAGA. They can go fuck themselves.
I already told Tammy if she ever feels that she needs to visit on last minute notice, I got rooms. And you know what? That's the shit we have to fucking be for each other right now. It sounds like platitudes, but I got to tell you, when it comes down to it, we're going to have to start making choices in the next few years. And I refuse to abandon people that just want to live their lives. I will not do it. I will not acquiesce to fascism.
If I need to disappear, you may not even see me.
Well,
got you.
Before that, give us a call. Don't do that.
I'll give you a call once I'm safely out, and I'll come back on air, and it won't look like this behind me. It'll look like some hotel room or undescript bedroom at a friend's house across a border somewhere, because I have more than a few.
Good. So, as long as we keep fighting, that's all we can do.
Everybody
for
stay
coming on,
safe.
Nathan.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, the only way we survive this, the only way our show survives is if we come together and build something special. We have to organize resistance. It is no longer an option. Inaction is not an option. Like, you have to do something. Whether you're into politics or not, this will affect you. Even if you did not vote, we need to come together. The voters for Kamala Harris and the people that did not vote, because they're just not in the politics. Like I used to not be in the politics. All of us have to come together because this will hurt every single one of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, please like and subscribe. And like I said, if you could help us out, YouTube just doesn't push our shit. So if you could help us out and share this video on other platforms, we would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, have a good rest of your day. We love you all, and we will talk to you again very soon.